What I love a lot of things about this course. One thing I love is that we get to be in. We
Mm,
get to bring our not knowing. We get to bring our intuition. Um, and when we're with the client, instead of stepping back and, there's this way of stepping back, we're stepping in. And we are hopefully helping them to find their own inner knowing
mhm,
in the way that we do this. We have a lot of therapists that join this course, and one of the reasons is that that's stepping in, that they often aren't taught in the way they are taught to be therapists, and instead we're in. I get to go, okay, this is coming up for me, and I don't know why. Um, and
right,
it, and I'm going to bring it. It may not mean anything, and oftentimes they go, "Oh my God," and because we're attuning and looking for what's here.
right.
Yeah. What do
Yeah,
you?
I love that because I don't need to know and I can trust the client's inherent wisdom.
Yeah.
And so just kind of following and looking together
Mhm.
at what they're bringing, together we can find an even deeper cut of what matters. Because often when they bring their topic, that's not the real thing that's going on
Mm.
often. And together, when we ask more questions, we find something they have a deeper commitment to that's hidden. And that's why
Mhm.
they're getting what they're getting so far.
Yeah, those commitments are about an identity that once really served us. And we don't know it, but we kind of outgrown it. And the feeling of being stuck or comes from a limitation that we don't really have to have. And through exploring with them and asking questions, they find out they've got choice and ways of stepping out that they didn't know were available to them. Oftentimes you'll have somebody go, I'm between a rock and a hard place. And when we explore, we find out, oh, that's just part of an old identity. You know,
Mhm. Right. Yeah,
it's
and that's what we can love about that inner dissonance, like that alignment guiding us. Oh, there's something more true that just needs to be revealed.
yeah. I'd love to hear either questions that you have, Elsa, or Will and Yvonne, the impact of taking the course, what you found valuable in it.
So much. It's so big to like summarize it, the impact. Uh, I was just chatting with a friend yesterday about how many therapists take the course and how it's different that we're not sitting here above the client,
Yeah.
and how different that is, and how that it's the opposite of burnout when you're part of it.
Mm.
And then there's always something when I look at this and share it, it's like there's a sense of a secret sauce, like a magic of the presence, the relateful piece of being with, while looking at underlying commitments, identity, while looking at what the client wants, which is different than a relateful session.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because relatefulness is at the foundation of the whole relationship. And it's like what helps us actually go so deep with each client is having that connection and that intimacy.
And there are other, we will accept people into the program that weren't in a relatefulness program if they have that ability to be with, if they have those chops from some other, either from a therapeutic background or from another course where they very much have learned that ability to listen and to intuit and yeah, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I feel that I'm what I try to do in my facilitating, but in life in general, I want to unlearn advice giving or fixing, trying to fix. And that is something that, especially as a facilitator, I'm constantly not battling, but kind of like working with, or like feeling into, like, oh, I'm going there. Yeah, okay, bringing myself back. And I notice, like, when I think about the coaching course, that's the first thing that comes up, that I'm afraid of, that I will do more. That will become more. Yeah.
Oh my God, is that a great question? Yeah, we don't consider people broken.
Broken. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't consider clients broken. That they're not broken.
Mm.
There's just more freedom and choice available than they thought. And
Mm.
yeah, and we're just asking questions, and we're not here to figure out what's right for them.
Mm.
We're here to help them figure out what's right for them. Where their
Yeah,
freedom.
maybe fixing is like I guess it's one direction. It's way more nuanced than that, than just fixing. It's also about like wanting someone to find something, wanting to find solutions or absolve something or find exaltation or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean that, and that is that being like an impulse that I'm trying to be with, and also, like, yeah, I do try to temper it a little bit more, I guess, or
For some
trying to unlearn something in it. Yeah.
What I'm remembering with this inquiry is, I guess, doing Relateful initially, get a lot of practice of just kind of being with someone as they are. That just kind of finding wonder in, yeah, just how are you right now? And nothing needs to change. And one of the beautiful things in the coaching course was allowing that to be there and then practicing something that feels more directive, like I actually have suggestions about where we go right now, and I can kind of see something that might make sense for you to look at. And to me that it's offering something to them, but it's also practicing actually loving that thing in myself, like learning to connect with what might be flows of wisdom and inspiration in me, or a kind of directive leadership in me, and getting to know that in its best form and
Like that.
loving it and including it,
Mm.
which was quite a radical, was and is quite a radical thing for me. Like, in a way, it's safer to just accept reality as it is and forget that a big part of reality as it is like flows of wisdom moving through me about how things could be improved.
Yeah, things are perfect. We're perfect just as we are, and there are things that we want to change.
It's something like looking for ways in which someone might have subtly or not so subtly given up on life. Like they might say, "Oh, why can I never meet a romantic partner?" And then you talk more, and as it goes on, like something in them doesn't believe it's possible to have partnership that works. So it doesn't actually want it.
Right.
And where I get humbled, kind of reflecting back on the course and kind of working as a coach, is like, can I myself not give up on life it's a sort of, you can only see where someone else has given up on it if you haven't. So it kind of, this invitation to have this radical belief in what's possible, so you can spot it when someone else is kind of given up on something, rather than what do you call it when you agree with it? Colluding. So there's a kind of radical, belief in what's possible that I think is both taught in the course and demonstrated in how you run it.
Like the more we're okay with someone's current way of being, what they're presenting with, the better chance they'll move into this new way that they're longing for.
And I can speak to the question, Elsa, because I have been a very strong person of advice and trying to help and fix. And this course has been the number one way that that part of me has changed into the ways you guys have all said. There's still like a sense of direction. There's still a sense of allowing more choice, perhaps, in the situation that they don't, see, and being with them on the not unraveling. But the techniques in the course, the underlying stuff, every session, there's just the energy and the information are like teaching us indirectly and directly, but a lot of indirectly, of how to see things in a way of this, that they're not broken. And for me, that was a huge change of seeing. That, and there's been some coaching sessions that I've had where I thought I saw my conscious mind going, oh, they should do this, but then and the doing the practice and being with and trusting life, trusting the flow, it ended up all they needed was to realign how they saw what they were doing, and nothing changed, just how they experienced it.
And I love what you're saying, Yvonne, because it reminds me how developmental just being a coach is. We're here to support our clients, but we are, like I can say for myself, like I grow so much in being with each client. I get to see these things that are active and these tensions in me that in these ways of wanting to support, and then oh, okay, I see that now. I can relax. Another opportunity to relax and just trust that this client knows how to find their way.
Yeah, and then what Will said, right? And then like discovering that there's this whole other wisdom within or underneath or on top of it. Yeah.
That was something I learned through practice in the course of trusting the intuition and bringing it without the agenda of I might be right or I might know better. Just being able, because I would not bring it, and then I get feedback like trust your intuition. So learning to bring it with that letting go of like trusting life, trusting the client, and here's this thing, as Will called it, his wisdom. I think here it is, but letting go of like it may not be right, and then it might to something else, and that's happened too, where they're like, no, but then they brings them somewhere they weren't before.
Right.
Okay, throw it in the trash and carry on. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've taught this course. It's a lot. And I get something new out of it every single time. There are layers to it. We coach in class. We coach each other, and other people are commenting on the side, and we're looking at things, and often what we're doing with somebody else also applies to me. Like, I didn't know I had that knot, and we're working and something unfolds in me. It feels quite magical in that way. Yeah, and we're with the same people every week for an hour and a half, twice a week, and so we've become quite close.
Yeah, I get excited when I hear you all. Just excited that I get to do this. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I did too.
I do too. I wish I would like to do it again. Even I can't imagine it ever not being valuable. I've gone through it twice and I coach and I love it, but there's something about the cohort and the written material is so amazing. And I just noticed like it starts, I believe it starts with the seeming paradox of being able to hold this, what we're talking about, like being with, while at the same time seeing some and sharing the wisdom or the guidance and doing both as a pair, and going into that state alone is some sort of healing something or magic. And that's just chapter 1, and then so the material itself is so rich.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's dense, it's rich, it's worth reading again and again because I always get more out of it.
What are your favorite topics, Renee and Val, in the syllabus?
Boundaries. I love talking about boundaries. I love the fact that the way we look at boundaries are things that I don't have to ask another person to do something. Boundaries are mine. If I'm trying to go, you have to do this, that's not a boundary. A boundary is where I go, I need this, right? And if the situation I'm in won't allow that, then I can choose to leave. It's all it's all within me in that way. And I'm engaging with someone else or in a circumstance, right? Finding that freedom there.
Yeah,
It was a completely new way of looking at it. It's not a line in the sand for somebody to hop to on. Yeah.
right. A lot of people feel boundaries like this, and this is really more like like an embrace. Like this is what will support me to love you and for us to thrive.
Mm. And identity. I love
Yeah,
the
I was
exploration of
mine too.
identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Renee, you're so strong in integral theory and in how that applies here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong in all of it, but you're like the expert on the integral part. Yeah.
I do love the integral area. I love the levels. I love the waking up.
Mm.
Just, more ways to help. Like there's so many tools, I would say, so many frames, just so many in this program that help us see where our clients at better
Yeah.
so that we can meet them at what they're in.
Will and Yvonne, I want to know what your favorite parts were.
Playing with now we're going to get confused between level and stages. The thing in integral theory that has colors. Is it stages? Is that what you call
Levels.
stages? That's
Yeah.
levels? The
Yeah.
levels of
Well,
development.
it's the same. Stages of development. Yeah. Levels.
Okay. One frame is like levels you might go through in child to adult development, but you can also look at it in cultures and things, and getting to practice things earlier on that you might think you've transcended, but actually you haven't. You might have rejected it. So for example, being impulsive and being direct and like non-verbal and just going for what you want, or like really feeling into kind of tribal loyalty, these kinds of things, and getting to play with coaching from these places
Yeah.
was really, I found it really fun for bringing new parts of my skill set out.
Totally.
Right? To get out of my comfort zone, my kind of usual, and see what are like ways of being that are in me that have some value that I'm kind of pushing away. And getting like good feedback when I try, like it would be helpful to people to try these things out. That was one thing I found really fun.
Yeah. And, you know, we have these ideas that, oh, if I bring this energy, my client won't like it. And then in the class, we get to test these out. And then we hear the clients like, no, I love that. That just brought so much energy to your coaching. So we get to play with these things and enliven our practice.
Yvonne, have a favorite part or one?
Yeah, I think two come to mind.
Yeah.
One is just, and the wording is difficult, like going to awareness. And going into the expanding out and noticing what's higher here from that further perspective, which doesn't land for everyone, but when it does, it's amazing. When it's on the client, I love it. But I would say really the decisive question and the nuance of how that works, of really embodying the client and what they want, and then asking the decisive question. And when you're there and you're in that and it works, most of the time I find the clients giggle at seeing this underlying commitment or belief that they didn't, and they see it quick. I don't have to point out, this is why you're not getting the thing and this They see it, and I can feel it in that instant. And it's like, almost feels like they can't ever unsee it. And then there also is something when you just even getting to the decisive question, it feels very, one of my favorite parts of the practice. It's kind of why I named my coaching business Mindful Visualization Coaching, because it's taking them into visualizing this place, but it's not for gating the goal or the visualization. It's actually finding the underlying commitment and level of identity. But I really enjoy being able to play with the techniques and get them really into a felt sense of what they're, and out of the mind and into a felt sense of what they want, so that the question really lands. But I love, the thing is, I love the whole course, so it's hard to pick a favorite, but the way the decisive question is and the way of playing with what they want, it's become like a really cool way of seeing the world and being with people. And even when I'm in struggle with my family or whatever, I can just always stop and go, what is it you want? Not necessarily ask the disclosing question, but like remembering, like, people are in something and because they want something, just maybe seems obvious to other people, but that this course helped me frame it for not just as a coach, but as in life.
Yeah, it's wanting something is different from being willing to have it. And the decisive question helps us to see where we haven't been willing. There's something in the way of our being willing to have it. Wanting and wanting and wanting is what it's different than, okay, like Renee is saying, being set against yourself, and either going, yeah, this thing I said I wanted, I don't really want that, obviously, or no, I do want it and I'm willing to change my belief about who I could be in order to have it.
Yeah, for anyone who watches this video, I hope we transmit some of our love for this program and get you curious to want to know more.
And just sign up for a call with one of us, with Renee or myself. Yeah, we can talk about it.
And that it's for becoming a great coach or a better therapist or less burnt out, and or when I first did my first training, it was just for personal development. I didn't plan on coaching. And it's so, I don't know if it's clear, but it's, you don't have to want to be a coach to get so much out of this program.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's a way of doing life that is extraordinarily freeing. I mean, doing is a weird word to say, but finding out that we have choice in our lives where we thought we didn't, and is an amazing thing.